Okay, I want to demonstrate and talk a little bit about drawing from a photograph a little bit more, and some strategies, some challenges, some ways to make your life easier. And so this is a picture of my son Liam, and a photograph, and this is one of my attempts at drawing him. And you can see at first glance there's some things about the drawing that are accurate, and there's some things that are not accurate. I've begun to add some shading elements and some value areas, some darks, some lights. And as I was doing it, I saw, oh yeah, some of this looks like him, but some of it doesn't. And this was a drawing from observation. So before I had done this one, I actually did another one that was even less accurate. And that one looked like this. It was just a quick, sketch. This looks like a boy. Doesn't necessarily look like that boy. And I would say the same, actually, about this drawing. Even though this one is more accurate, it still is missing some of the essential elements that make it look like this particular boy. I should just say, I know this guy. This is my son. and it's difficult. It's difficult to draw somebody and capture who they are. So something that I did along the way before I even started this, I looked at some different pictures of Liam, tried to capture some of his different moods quickly, just to kind of, get to know him, and just also to practice. Some of these turned out pretty okay. Some of them turned out not so good, but it captures a little bit of a range of the looks. Okay. So when you find that you're kind of coming up against a roadblock of trying to of making it accurate, sometimes you kind of surrender to the idea that maybe you need some help. So what can you do? Well, there's this thing called tracing paper, and you can take your photograph and literally just trace it right onto the tracing paper. Then, once you've done that, you can either use it as a reference and say, okay, what's different? When I drew this, what did I get right? What did I get wrong? You can do it that way, which is a good way to do it. But you also can just take your drawing pad and you can use this traced drawing as a template. So you can literally copy it right on. So I'm taking the tracing paper now, and I'm layering it over my my drawing pad, and I'm going to take a piece of carbon paper now, put it underneath, and now I'm going to trace the outline right on to the paper from the carbon pad. So I'm going to use a very hard pencil. This is a 3H because I want it to really go through. And I'm not going to put in all the details, but I am going to get the locations as accurate as I can right now for things like the ear and the edge of the face. So I am going to put a lot of pressure right now on the pencil because I want it to go through. And maybe that's him. Maybe I'll include some of these other sort of hair texture lines, but I'm definitely going to include the shapes of the upper eyelids. Oops, made that too thick. Tracing is easy, right? Well, some days. I've heard it said, and I don't know to what extent this is true, but I know at least to some extent a lot of professional artists in the Renaissance era learned by tracing. They would trace their own instructor's drawings. The master would draw something, and then the student would trace it literally or copy it. And so that's one way to train your hand. If you're tracing someone else's drawing, who's better than you, well, you're following in their footsteps. You're following their marks. I'm doing this rather quickly. It could be something that I could take more careful time and attention to. And the other thing I'm not doing right now is I'm not lifting up the paper to see if it's even going through. That would be a good idea. But I'm just trying to quickly demonstrate so that makes it easier to lay out your outlines. Now, I would not encourage you to start your drawing this way. I would encourage you to start it by the way that I did, trying to see it. How did that turn out? Not bad. Not bad. So now I have an outline on my paper that I can use to much more easily lay out accurately the shapes. And if you compare this to that, it's much more accurate.